You see, this is how you do it. This is how you take a beloved, iconic, classic property like RoboCop and you convert it into a video game while staying very true to its 80s roots. I'm talking about RoboCop Rogue City, which a company called Teon developed for a variety of platforms. I played this on the PC and the Steam Deck, and I had a big-ass smile on my face the whole time I played this insane game, which has all kinds of cool echoes of synth music and lots of arcades and CRT monitors. It totally is of the era, and I think it is all the better for it, including Peter Weller returning as Alex Murphy, RoboCop.
Who's there? Show yourself!
You'd better not.
As you wish, creep. You are under arrest. Come quietly.
Do you really believe that's what's gonna happen? Take care of him, boys. I'll meet you on the roof.
What's up, metal freak? Forget where you left your car?
You better go, Miss Ortiz. It seems there will be trouble.
I really had a good time with this title. Even though it's not a perfect game, you can absolutely complain about its repetitive nature and the fact that as RoboCop, you are really hampered by your mobility. You are a big, slow, walking, thunderous tank. Every step you take has weight and substance. It's boom, boom, boom. And you're a killing machine. You have this incredible pistol, the Auto 9, which has unlimited bullets and is very handy. And you are just laying waste to all the bad guys, the motorcycle gang members and all the goons, all the city goons, and eventually you'll fight some robots and some tougher enemies as well. You might have to go up against a rogue Ed 209. You do. It is just really fun to play. You can pick up other weapons as well, grenade launchers and sniper rifles and machine guns and shotguns and stuff, but I've defaulted a lot right back to the Auto 9, and this is excessively violent, like big giant geysers of blood and red everywhere. You're gonna see heads popping and arms blasted off. Ragdoll physics like crazy, bodies flying everywhere, and of course you can shoot people in the crotch if you want to do that. That's part of the lore. That's in the storyline of the RoboCop movies. Now the story for this one actually takes you back into the events between RoboCop 2 and RoboCop 3. It's been a long time since I've seen those movies, so I cannot recount exactly how the narratives went in either of those movies. Suffice to say though that this feels incredibly authentic. The city streets of Detroit are grimy and they're populated by all kinds of scummy people who want to shoot at RoboCop before trying to look at the guy and say, wait a minute, maybe it's a bad idea. He's killing all of our buddies here. Maybe I should put down my weapons and just surrender. No, nobody does that. Everybody just keeps blasting away until they get shot into chunks. And so there is this kind of like routine to the way that the combat plays. But what the developers have done is they've really kind of mixed it up with lots of interesting threaded storylines and submissions and lots of conversation. You get into lots of dialogue trees with other fellow officers. You get into the politics of the city a little bit, which is kind of surreal, but the movies explored a little bit of that, of the sort of corruption that existed in this Detroit, and that's why the RoboCop program is built, and that's why Ed 209 becomes a factor, and this idea that we could just trust our robot overlords to take care of everything. Does that sound kind of familiar to what's happening right now in reality? It was all satirical and kind of kooky and crazy back in the 80s. It was fun sci-fi, and now it kind of hits a little different. Of course, that nostalgic veneer is there, but you can also apply it to the kind of oppressive authoritarian thinking that is existing right now, and all of our sort of running roughshod right into the world of AI currently in 2023. It's interesting to play this game through that prism of sort of topical information. But why this game succeeds, it's not because it's the best shooter out there. It's fun to play as a tank, and I don't normally play as a tank type character when I play Overwatch or Call of Duty or something like that, so it's pretty cool to be this tough and this hard to kill, and RoboCop can pick up little items that will heal him a little bit as he goes. He can also jack into fuse boxes and heal himself that way, which is really funny. And there's a level up tree where you can give yourself some more combat power, more ability to heal in some more interesting ways. You can also scan things a little bit better. The scanning idea is really cool in this as well, because it totally brings you back to the RoboCop/Terminator days of just looking around and finding items and scanning them and helping out your fellow officers and fellow citizens There was one mission where we had to find a cat. You know, it's crazy. And I think what's interesting about this game and the movies is how they tried to kind of navigate the lost humanity of Alex Murphy, and they deal with that psychosis. And Peter Weller's also been really good with the line reads, the one-liners, of course, but also subverting that monotone kind of delivery of this character. You feel for him. There's an empathetic thing. There's a pathos for this RoboCop Alex Murphy creation, and that's thanks to Peter Weller. And it's just a remarkable achievement that the game makers were able to bring him back, because he really underlines how valuable this game is for fans of the original franchise. It really works that he's there. And so you'll get into conversations with your superior officers, you'll meet with a therapist and sort of figure out a little bit about what's in your headspace, and there are sort of multiple choice kind of options for you that connect you and ally you with these characters in different types of ways, which is interesting. Although the gameplay truly devolves to being a first-person shooter that's just silly and over the top, and you're a big chonky fellow that's cruising around, thudding on the ground and just blasting everybody and turning everybody into cannons of spaghetti sauce. It's just so crazy experience. Some good looking visuals though. It's a weird one because it's so out of place, both in its narrative and its connection to these 80s films, but also in its technology as a game. It's using Unreal Engine 5, so there's some stuff that looks really next gen, you know, some beautiful lighting effects and reflection effects. And then there's also some stuff that looks really last gen, like the characters all look like they've been severely sunburned. They've all got sort of facial damage on them, and they're not animated, you know, beautifully, not state of the art. You're not going to mistake this for some Baldur's Gate conversations or some Cyberpunk 2077 conversations, but it still looks okay, you know? I thought there was some weird kind of dappling effect with some of the reflections in the distance when you're looking at rainy streets. It looked like everything was pockmarked a little bit as opposed to like rain spatter, but I'm quibbling because overall the game looked pretty damn sweet to me. It didn't look that great on the Steam Deck, but when you were in the gameplay on the Steam Deck, it actually handled all right and it was fun to play. I do think that this exact game could be served well with a third-person mode, so you could play it on a flat screen, but you could see the RoboCop character because it's just such a cool creation. It's fun to be RoboCop. And it also inversely could be a great VR experience because so much of the experience is first person. It'd be cool also to look at your robo hands and look at the legs sort of coming apart and pulling out the Auto 9 and stuff like that. But this is fun as it exists. It's especially fun if you're a fan like I am of RoboCop. I think this is absolutely worth checking out. I think it's a 7 if you don't really know the property, and it's an 8 if you do. So I do. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10.